came down in slanted sheets, a cold whisper against the windshield as Detective Claire Holden steered her car through the winding mountain road. The wipers struggled to keep up with the storm, blurring the neon sign that appeared ahead. Hillview Motel, flickering like a dying heartbeat. She had been driving for hours, following a lead that pointed here, to this forgotten corner of the countryside, where cell signals vanished and secrets grew like mold under old wallpaper. The motel looked as tired as the night itself. Paint peeled from its wooden siding, and the buzzing sign above the office cast a sickly green glow across the gravel lot. Only 3 cars sat there, a rusted blue pickup, a silver sedan, and an old red Mustang with fogged-up windows. Claire parked, took a deep breath, and stepped out. The smell of wet pine and gasoline filled the air. Inside, the lobby was dim, lit by a single desk lamp. Behind the counter sat a man in his late 50s, heavy-set with thinning gray hair and small eyes that didn't blink enough. His name tag read Harold, though the letters were faded. He looked up lazily as Claire approached, her badge glinting under the weak light. "Evening, officer," Harold said, voice rough like gravel. "Storm's bad tonight. Roads ain't safe." "Detective," Claire corrected gently, flashing her credentials. "Detective Holden. I'm looking for a woman named Emily Carter. She checked in here yesterday, room 7. Harold frowned, his gaze shifting toward the register. "Room 7, huh? Don't recall no Emily Carter. You sure she's here?" Claire slid a photo across the counter. A young woman, mid-20s, chestnut hair and bright, curious eyes. She called a friend around 9 p.m. last night. Said she was staying here, heading north in the morning. Then she stopped answering her phone. Harold rubbed his jaw, staring at the photo too long. Lot of folks passed through. Hard to keep track. He reached for the register, flipping a few pages. Room 7 was taken. All right. Pay cash. No name. Mind if I take a look around? Claire asked, her tone polite but firm. Harold hesitated. Storm's bad. Power might cut out. Don't want you getting lost. I'll manage, she replied. Room 7 was at the far end, near the trees. The door creaked open under her touch. The room smelled faintly of damp carpet and bleach. The bed was unmade, the curtains half drawn, and the bathroom light flickered weakly. She scanned the place, a single shoe near the dresser, lipstick smudge on a glass, a coffee cup with the motel logo. But what caught her attention was the faint brown stain near the rug, small, circular, too dark to be coffee. She crouched and touched it. Blood, nearly dried. Her instincts tightened. She took out her flashlight and scanned the corners. The trash can was empty, suspiciously clean. But behind the nightstand, she found a torn piece of fabric, red cotton, maybe from a shirt. She bagged it carefully, then moved toward the window. It was slightly open, rain seeping in through the crack. Outside, faint footprints led away into the trees, half washed by rain. Harold, she muttered under her breath, heading back toward the office. But when she arrived, the lobby was empty. The chair behind the counter spun slowly, as if someone had just left in a hurry. The register was open, the guest book gone. A door at the back stood ajar, leading into a narrow hallway. She drew her weapon and stepped inside. The hallway smelled of mildew and something worse, decay. A single bulb flickered overhead. Her boots squeaked on the linoleum floor as she moved forward. The first door was locked. The second opened to a storage room filled with cleaning supplies and boxes. The third, a basement entrance, was slightly open, a draft creeping up from below. "Harold," she called. "We need to talk." No answer. She descended the steps, flashlight beam cutting through the dark. The basement was large, lined with old furniture, broken vending machines, and something that looked like an old freezer. Her light swept across the floor, then froze. A hand. Pale. Motionless. Claire's heart thudded as she approached. The body of a young woman lay half covered by a tarp. Chestnut hair. Bruises around her neck. Emily Carter. Her throat tightened. But beside the body, something glinted. A necklace, gold with a small locket. Inside was a photo of Emily with another woman, smiling. On the back an engraving. "To my sister, love, Anna." Claire swallowed hard, fighting the lump in her throat. She knew that name. Anna Carter, Emily's sister, had disappeared 3 years ago. Cold case. Never solved. Then she heard footsteps behind her. She turned sharply, flashlight cutting through the dark. Harold stood at the top of the stairs, shotgun in hand. "Should have left when you had the chance, detective," he said. His voice was calm, eerily so. "Some things don't like being dug up. What did you do to her?" Claire demanded, gun raised. "Same thing I did to the others," Harold muttered. "They come here, poking around, asking questions. But they never leave." Lightning flashed outside, casting his face in sharp relief, sweat, dirt, madness. He fired. The blast tore into the wall as Claire dove behind an old cabinet, shards of wood flying past her. She rolled, returned fire, one shot clean. Harold stumbled, dropped his weapon, and collapsed halfway down the stairs, blood spreading across his shirt. Claire approached cautiously, gun still raised. "Who else, Harold? Who else is down here?" He coughed, blood bubbling from his lips. "Check the freezer." Then he went still. She turned to the old freezer. Its handle was rusted, the lid chained shut with an old padlock. She fired once, breaking the lock, and lifted the lid. The stench hit her like a wave. Inside were plastic-wrapped shapes, human unmistakably. At least 4 of them. A serial killer, hiding in plain sight. Her hand shook as she radioed for backup. "This is Detective Holden. Multiple bodies found at Hillview Motel. Suspect deceased. Send units immediately." But as she waited for a response, a noise echoed from the far corner, a faint whimper. She turned her light. A girl no older than 16 sat tied to a chair, duct tape over her mouth, eyes wide with terror. Claire rushed over, cutting her free. The girl sobbed into her arms, trembling. He said I'd be next," she whispered. "You're safe now," Claire assured her, wrapping her coat around the girl. "It's over." But as she led the girl upstairs, something nagged at the back of her mind. The necklace. The photo. 2 sisters. One dead. One missing. And Harold, too old and sloppy to have done all of it alone. When the backup finally arrived, flashing lights cutting through the rain, Claire gave a report, but she kept that thought to herself. Something didn't add up. 2 days later, forensic teams processed the motel. The victims were identified, all women, all missing persons from the last 5 years. But one set of prints, found on the locket and the freezer, didn't match Harold. They belonged to Anna Carter. Claire stared at the report, the words burning into her brain. Anna Carter, presumed dead. But if her prints were here, then she'd been alive. Maybe she still was. That night, she returned to Hillview Motel alone. The crime scene tape fluttered in the wind. The building sat silent, condemned. She walked through the rooms one last time, flashlight cutting across the shadows. In room 7, the air was colder than before, heavy with silence. The window creaked. On the bed lay a note, folded, handwritten in red ink. "Thank you for finding Emily. She deserved peace. But I'm not done yet. There are more like Harold. More who hide in places like this. You'll see me again soon. AC." Claire exhaled slowly, the storm outside beginning again. She folded the note, slipped it into her pocket, and looked toward the trees. Somewhere out there, Anna Carter was alive, a vigilante, hunting monsters like the man who killed her sister. And though the case was officially closed, Claire knew this was only the beginning. As thunder rolled through the valley, she whispered into the dark, "I'll be waiting, Anna." And the neon sign above the motel flickered one last time before dying completely, leaving the Hillview Motel swallowed by darkness and its secrets forever.